Well, hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I don't know exactly what happened. I got some kind of, for those of you that are just now joining me, this is actually our second attempt at streaming tonight. For whatever reason or another, we got a notification about 2 minutes into the broadcast that it wasn't broadcasting. And it's the first time ever we got a warning from StreamYard saying Facebook's having a problem and try again, basically is what they were saying. So I do apologize. And it happened as I looked down on my phone to check out what was going on. Suddenly I went from X number of viewers to no viewers. And I was like, oh, damn, I pissed everybody off. And then there you go. But that was it. So there we have it. So hi, good to see you all again. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure yet of meeting, my name is Stephen Jones. I am the executive director of Float. And tonight I am your host here with Step Chat, along with Murphy, the incredible pain in the butt dog, who I'm sure will be causing havoc from here on out, because he never has any interest in spending any time with me at all throughout the day until I go live. And then suddenly it's all about time to play. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. Amanda, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Linda, as always, a pleasure to see you. Thank you. Angela, good to see you too. Terry Widener, thank you for joining me. So far so good. We are currently longer streaming now than we were before. So there we go. I can only assume it. I don't know what the problem was. Today was one of those days where I had to reconnect. Like the way StreamYard works is it only allows you to be connected to your Facebook accounts for so long, and then you have to log in again. So I can only assume that it might have been somehow related to that, because I did have to re-log in. But I will say I'm getting a little bit disappointed, because this is probably the third or fourth time in the last couple of months that we've had to restart the StreamYard for whatever technical reason or another. Dory Sapol, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, Dory. So there we go. So I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're all having a good time and a good weekend, and hope it was profitable for you and all that fun stuff. And if it wasn't profitable for you, I hope you had an opportunity to catch up on busy work, or hope you just got to rest and do fun stuff with the family or whatever. I am sporting the Fulcrum colors today. Cross marketing. Yes. For those of you that are unaware, in addition to the Float convention, which takes place every 2 years, we also do another event called Fulcrum, which is the alternate 2 years. So Float is coming up in January. Then in January of 2027, we will host the next episode of Fulcrum. So there you go. So we kind of, we got a couple different things going on. So yes. And another event I hear might be coming to the Floativerse. But we're not going to talk about that. So there we are. Yep. Sorry for those of you that I upset. There you go. So thank you for joining me. For those of you, whatever time it is where you are watching, whether you're watching now live, or if you're watching on replay, or if you're watching on the replay on Facebook, or not on Facebook, excuse me. If you're watching the replay on our YouTube channel, thank you very much for that as well. We're actually thinking about expanding into doing this live on YouTube as well, like a multi-platform kind of thing. Amanda, Fulcrum was amazing. Great, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you very much. I really love the concept of Fulcrum a lot. Fulcrum and Float are not the same thing. Float is a convention that is much larger. We have about 1,000 people coming. It's got classes, it's got a vendor showcase, it's got competitions, it's got all this other stuff. Fulcrum is a much smaller crowd. I think this was the biggest one we had, this past one. It was 120 people. It is almost entirely business focused. There is a small decor side of it that takes place the day before. But it's 2 days of business conversations, topics, and things of that nature. So so where Float is very heavy design focus, Fulcrum is very business focus. So and we'll be doing it again in 2027. So speaking of which, I need to get the contract signed for that. So there we have it. Mr. Phil Whitehead, finally here. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Our head of security at Float. Thank you, Phil. Amanda, help me work on my business. Fantastic. That's what we want to hear. That's the other thing too. I'm really happy about too, because of the Aloft program, we're starting to go really heavy business focus also. We are even contemplating increasing the content. but that's another story. So there we go. Miss Stephanie, good to see you. Thank you very much. Greg Aragoni, one of our fabulous crew members at Float. Greetings, future Float attendees. Good to see you, sir. Miss Stephanie, dates for Fulcrum 27. We do not have them formally committed to yet. I'm not going to share any dates for Fulcrum because we just don't have them yet. And I know you're a cruise queen. I get it, but I don't have them. Until I sign a contract, I'm not sharing those dates. So there we go. But it's always around the same time. It's probably about the third week of January-ish. So there we go. And Fulcrum is normally a Tuesday and a Wednesday event, with Monday being the decor day. We were talking about adding a vendor element to Fulcrum, but we've decided against it. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I don't want to do it. No, it won't be mid-February. It won't be that late. If our host hotel can't host us when we want to host it, we'll go somewhere else. I don't, as much as I love going to the St. Louis Airport Marriott, because that's where we historically host Fulcrum. As much as I enjoy going there, it's a hot mess behind the scenes, and it's the same problems every time. Like, they don't fix the problems, if that makes sense. Like, we've gotten so, I mean, the great thing about it is they basically give us reins to do whatever we want. I mean, Carl and I can literally go anywhere in the building and they don't care. Because we've been there so long, we keep doing stuff. But at the same time, the same problems that you have over and over and over again, they're not addressing them. And so at some point you're just like, well, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere else. And we were absolutely thinking about doing that. Just left there. You were at the St. Louis Airport Marriott? Interesting. So there we go. It might not be a bad idea to give somebody new a try. And let's be honest, let's be transparent. The great thing about with Fulcrum being so much smaller is it does mean that we have a lot more options as to where we can go. Heaven forbid, it might be nice to actually try to go somewhere warm in January for once, right? So, that's always a possibility too. So we'll see what we can come up with and go from there. So, but topics of conversation, all that kind of thing. So yeah, good to see you all. Thank you again for being here. Hope you all, like I said, had a good weekend and good week. And now, admittedly, I don't have a lot of content to share with you tonight because most of our information that's coming at you this week is, of course, being reserved for the special show we have coming up on Thursday. But let's get to the slideshow and we'll talk about that and all that fun stuff. Oh, it just occurred to me that I don't know that I prepared that. No, I did not. I did, but I didn't. So let me just make a quick change. Let's do a share screen here. Let's get to the window. And hopefully this will all go into effect very quickly. Excuse me while I watch my cheat sheet down here to make sure that it is going where I want it to go. Yay. Okay, everything seems to be working just fine. And there we have it. So welcome to tonight's episode of Step Chat here on the Float Facebook page. Before we get too far into anything, folks, today is my father's 78th birthday. So for those of you that are frequent floaters, you've met Float Mom and Float Dad before. Today, September 7th, is my father's 78th birthday. I just got off the phone with him a little bit ago, chatting about all the fun stuff and everything. So yeah, that was fun. Who the hell's... Oh my gosh. All right. Sorry. Forgive me. Totally unrelated. Okay. So, yeah. So happy birthday, Dad. The funny thing is, from Float 2024, the photo that's on the left there in the orange and purple, that's from the very last Float convention. I didn't think my dad actually would appreciate that picture being the one of him. So I found another one from Float 2020 and put that one up there as well. So there you go. So yay. Happy birthday, Dad. Thank you very much. Yeah. So for 78, I think he looks damn good. I can only hope I'm in as good a shape as he is at 78. That's all I got to say. All right, it is time to chat about. We have a lot of stuff going on specifically this week in the Floativerse. Um, you guys know me well enough to know by now that I only do this when we've got multiple things going on in a week. And so, with that being said, let's talk about it. Liliana, by the way, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Blanca Mendoza, nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining us. So, yeah, there we go. So, yes, we have a lot going on this week in the Floativerse. So, let's talk about it right here. Let's start off with tomorrow night. Our very own Pia Guadalupe will be hosting another edition of La Familia Float. This is our exclusive web show just for our Spanish-speaking delegates coming to Float. And tomorrow night, Pia's guest will be Eduardo Flores, who's going to be teaching at Float on behalf of Megashine. So we're excited to have Eduardo and Pia joining us tomorrow night. That is going to be taking place here on the Float Facebook page, as well as Pia Guadalupe's Instagram account. So feel free to join us. That is going to be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. So once again, La Familia Float con Pia Guadalupe tomorrow night, lunes, September 8th, with Pia Guadalupe and special guest Eduardo Flores. Please remember, everybody, that the show is exclusively in Spanish. That's all I ask. Just keep that in mind if you choose to tune in. Now, admittedly, it's not an it's basically an interview section. So Eduardo's not going to be teaching anything. That's not that kind of a class. It's not that kind of an interview. So if you guys are going to tune in, please either Google Translate really, really fast or speak Spanish. So there you have it. Lisa McIntyre, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. That is tomorrow. Speaking of Lisa McIntyre, she is back with another edition of Kicking Back with Lisa Mac on Tuesday night. Now, for those of you, again, who may be new to the Floativerse, every week, Lisa McIntyre hosts a virtual happy hour right here on the Float Facebook page. The link for the live call is put in the Facebook group, but the broadcast is done here on the Facebook page because Facebook no longer allows third-party apps like Zoom or StreamYard to blast into the groups. So Lisa will be hosting it. Everyone and anyone is welcome to be live on the call. The show will begin at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. They normally broadcast for about an hour live on Facebook, and then they go off Facebook and they go into what's called after party mode. If you are new to the Floativerse and want to make new friends before you come to the convention, this is a great way to do it. It's, again, everyone and anyone is welcome to be live on the call. Lisa hosts that, like I said, every week. And this week she's back to the normal rotation, which is 5 p.m. Pacific time. So thank you very much for that, Lisa. We really, really, appreciate you. This coming Thursday night, September 11th, we have a very special edition of Step Chat coming your way right here on the Facebook page again. We are going to be revealing not only, well, we're going to be revealing the bonus class instructors, and we are going to reveal the flotation pass, as well as answer live questions about the flotation pass. Now, for those of you that are new to the Floativerse and don't really know what the flotation pass is, the flotation pass is essentially a VIP access added value option to the convention. So basically, if you're registered to attend Float, you are allowed to purchase this added value option if you wish to. This allows you the opportunity to have unlimited access to all the added value classes. It gives you unlimited access to some exclusive activities and some exclusive benefits that nobody else gets. And it's all in one lump sum that you buy, and then you get to go to all this stuff and you get to walk around with a pass and everything else. So if you have any questions about that, we're going to be answering all of that live on Thursday night. So we will reveal to you the bonus class instructors. We will reveal to you the entire benefits package of the flotation pass, as well as how much it's going to cost in 2026. And then on Friday, 8 a.m., those flotation passes will go on sale through the website. So there you go. There will be an e-blast that goes out the moment that goes live, and everybody can sign up for them. Because again, we're not, I should let me correct that statement because saying it's on the website is wrong. We do not sell the flotation passes on the website. These are sold directly through a link that is only sent to those people who are registered to attend float. So there you go. Yeah. So these are always very, very popular. The one thing I can tell you this year, though, the one thing that I will share now is that we are not at this point, we are not looking to cap the sales of flotation passes. We had to last year, in 2024, we had to because the venue only had so much room and we had to limit the number of flotation passes we could sell because it had a problem with classroom space and everything else. Well, at the new venue, we really don't have the same problems that we had there. So we do not anticipate having to cap the number of flotation passes that we can offer this year. So there's that. Hello, Dina. Good to see you. Thank y'all for being here. Glad you didn't miss out. There we go. So busy week between La Familia on Monday, Kick It Back with Lisa Mack on Tuesday, the special edition of Step Chat on Thursday, and flotation passes going on sale this coming Friday. Big, big week coming your way in the Floativerse. All right. So speaking of which, the next big thing is Reno 2026. We're very excited to have you coming with us. We're looking forward to it. Again, I've said it 1,000 times over. I cannot express how happy I am with this new venue. I love working with them. The venue in Chicago was problematic for multiple reasons, to say nothing of the fact that the staff was more than challenging to deal with. But so far, everything behind the scenes has been great at the new location. I love the layout of the new location. I love the size of the new location. We are going to be so happy in this new place. And I think you'll really enjoy it. I know it's a little more challenging to get to, but you know what, guys? It is absolutely, emphatically, you're going to love it. Really excited about the new home for Float 2026. With that being said, I do want to remind, whoa, what the hell? How is my slide out of, oh, hold on. That's interesting. How did that happen? Oh, it's in the wrong. Bear with me. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Let's try this again. Speaking of which, we want to make sure that all of you get an opportunity to save as much money as you can on Float 2026. Please keep in mind that the discounted rate for the convention expires at the end of this month. Academic passes, weekend passes, and jam passes all expire. The current prices, all expire on September 30th because on October 31st, the prices go up. Some of you may be wondering, well, what will those increases be? Well, let's share them with you now. The standard class pass, the academic pass to float, okay, goes from $695 to $795 on October 1st. So that is a substantial increase of $100. So if you want to save and get the cheaper price, you want to sign up before the end of this month. Now, this is for the domestic price. This is not for the international price. The international price is currently $575, and that is not intended to increase until January 3rd. So please keep in mind that there you go. So this is just for those individuals that reside in the United States. So there we have it. If you reside in, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. This is for the price for those individuals that reside within the continental United States. If you reside in Alaska, Hawaii, any of the U.S. territories, which includes Puerto Rico and like Philippines and places like that. And of course, if you live in any other country, ranging from Canada to Mexico to Uruguay to whatever, you can come to Float for a discounted rate because you have to go through the hassles of extra travel. So that discount rate is $575. Like I said, that price will not be increasing anytime soon. So you're locked in there. But if you live in the continental United States, or as we said when I used to live in Alaska, the lower 48, your price of $695 officially ends on September 30th. So make sure you take advantage of that while you can. If you are not looking to take classes at Float, but you just want to come and hang out, we had lots of people wanted that when we sold out last year. The jam passes go up $20 more as the end of September. It's not much of an increase, but it's an increase nonetheless. The jam passes will increase from $375 to $395. So if you're looking to come to float and save a little money, you can get your pass before then. As you can see, it's not a substantial increase until you get into January, because the Jam Pass is basically just access to all 3 days of the vendor showcase, the jam room, and all the social functions. You're not allowed in anything that's considered academic, and no, you can't buy your way into it either, which means you cannot buy your way into an individual class. I just want to take one class. No, too bad. You bought a Jam Pass. You can't even go to the Fulcrum panels because it's considered academic. Okay. So that is important to keep in mind. And finally, the weekend passes. If you are looking to buy one of our weekend passes, those prices also increase by by $25 at the end of the month. It goes from September 30th, it's $250, it goes to $275. The weekend pass entails access at float from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It does not allow you access to any added value classes, so you can't buy your way into stuff. It also, again, with the Fulcrum panels being held on Sunday, you're not allowed access to those either because those are considered academic. But you are welcome to attend the vendor showcase on Sunday, any of the sponsored sessions on Sunday. You're allowed to attend those. You're allowed to attend any of the social functions, the jam room, all that's available to you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. Your pass expires Monday morning. So there you go. So if you're looking to save money, folks, that's the way to do it. Hello, Sherry Hatcher. Good to see you. Thank you for being here again. Again, I do want to remind everybody, of course, we have all kinds of sponsorships that are available for the convention, as well as our vendor booths. As of today, we are at 103 booths sold, which is a record. It's the most we've ever had. And we still have like 4.5 months to go before the convention. So I have a feeling we're going to sell a bunch more than that. But Miss Stephanie has a question. Can you purchase tickets for the gala? Okay, so let's talk about that. So first of all, before I get into the next topic, let's go back and answer Stephanie's question. Okay, so with the academic pass at $695, you get a ticket to the gala. So that's fine, okay? With the Jam Pass, you do not get a ticket to the gala. Yes, you do. If you have a Jam Pass, okay, you are allowed first dibs on purchasing guest passes for the gala. Because technically speaking, the Jam Pass expires at midnight on Tuesday. If you do have a ticket for the gala, then we'll let you hang out on Wednesday also. But if not, that's when the pass expires. Yes, you can buy a ticket for the gala if you have a Jam Pass. If you have a weekend pass, you cannot. Because again, you're not going to be there. You're not allowed access Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So now, technically speaking, we can sell anybody a pass, but the difference is also going to be if you have a Jam Pass, you can buy a ticket for the gala at like $95 or whatever. And if you don't have a Jam Pass, it's like $125 or $130. So there you go. That's how that's all going to work. So thank you for allowing me to go back and address that. Tabitha Miller, wonderful to see you. Thank you very much for being here. One of our fabulous instructors coming to float. Okay. Now, what we are starting to see, however, we talked about this in a previous episode of Step Chat, and I want to bring it up again because in the last week, not one, but two different vendors have already asked about this. And of course, they really should have asked before the second, but that's fine. So, if you have a booth in the vendor showcase and you want to move, there are two ways that we're going to handle this. So first of all, again, let's say you're in a single booth and you want to move and get a double booth, okay? Or you're currently in a double booth and you decided, you know what, we kind of want a bigger space than we thought, so we're going to get 4 booths or whatever. If you wish to move in that capacity, that's no problem. You'll simply purchase the new booth space. We'll apply any credits that may apply or whatever, blah, 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 and then that's it. You buy the booth space, we're done, we move you, there's no problem. However, if you want to what I call laterally move, In other words, if you have a single booth and you want to move to a different single booth, if you have a double booth and want to switch to a different double booth, if you're moving booth to booth, there is a charge of $50 from this point forward. It actually kicked in on September 3rd. So if you reach out to me and say, hey, Steve, I want to move from A2 to L7, that's booth to booth. Okay. If you're looking to do that, I'm going to say, I can do that for you. I'm going to send you an invoice. At that point, I will put a hold on the new booth for 24 hours and I will send you an invoice for the $50. Once that invoice is paid, I'm more than happy to move you. The reason why we're doing this is not because Steve is greedy. The reason that we are doing this is because it is a chain reaction every damn time this happens. Whenever somebody moves, right now, if anybody moves, like if somebody wants to get a bigger booth or whatever, they're going to leave a big cluster area, which means that, which now means that there's going to be this big open space in the cluster area. And then suddenly people are going to be like, oh, I want to move there. So what happens is one person moves and then 7 or 8 other people cataclysmically end up moving as a result. It is a royal pain in the butt. There was a time in 2024's convention when I literally made 6 changes to the floor plan in one day and 12 overall just from the one booth moving. Okay. And yes, it doesn't matter what's happened. If somebody pulls out of the show, if somebody cancels their booth and now there's a hole open, it doesn't matter. You're still paying to move into that space unless you are expanding. Again, if you're going to take on more financial responsibility to get a bigger footprint at the convention, I'm not going to charge you for that. I'm already charging you for that because you're buying the booth, right? But if I'm just basically pushing around paperwork because you want to keep moving, then that's different. And then there's a fee for that. Okay. It's just, it is what it is. Not, like I said, it's because it's been abused over and over and over again. Okay. All right, folks, let's talk about Aloft. For those of you that are unfamiliar, Aloft is our 24-hour streaming service. And later this month, we will be celebrating our 3rd anniversary with Aloft. Very excited about that. And we have a very special offer coming your way, which we'll talk about later. Not today, but at a later time, because can't let a good anniversary go away. But right now, there's about 150 classes, videos, and podcast episodes available to you. As a member of Aloft, it's free, unlimited streaming. You can join either by a 6-month block or by an annual block. It's a great deal. It really is. The annual price breaks down to $10 a month for all that content. And again, it's not just content produced by some random person on Facebook or Instagram that you don't really know. It's put together by industry-leading experts who know what the hell they're talking about. And speaking of which, our next class is coming up later this month on September 23rd with the incredibly talented ladies from Bubblegum Balloons out of jolly old England, a hauntingly hip Halloween. Being that it's September and Halloween is coming up, and for a lot of people, Halloween is a huge month. So join the ladies of Bubblegum Balloons this month. This class is presented by our friends at Anagram. The class is scheduled for September 23rd. Again, please note the time of this class. This class will be held at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 9 a.m. Pacific Time. The reason for this, once again, is because the ladies of Bubblegum reside in the United Kingdom. Our normal class time would have it like midnight or after midnight by the time they finish the class. So we are making adjustments for them to better accommodate their schedule. So there you go. Remember, if you can't make the class, it's not a big deal because the class is recorded and then uploaded into the Aloft program. So then you get unlimited access to watch the replay all you want. But of course, if you're like a lot of people who want to be there and ask questions live in the class, then you want to join us for the live feed. Okay. Now, let's say you're not a member of Aloft. Well, first of all, if you're coming to Float, you really should join Aloft before Float because there's so many benefits of that. But we'll talk about that another time. But if you're not a member of Aloft, there's 2 ways that you can get access to this class. First of all, obviously, Obviously, first of all, you can join Aloft, as we've already talked about. And by doing so, you'll go to floatconvention.com/aloft. Okay. Um, and again, you just pick whichever package you want to join, and that's it. If you don't want to join, if you're the non-committal type, then what I highly recommend you do is go to our orange store at floatconvention.com/orange store. Orange like the color, store like the retail. And there's a button right at the top that says sign up for the class. You can sign up for the class. It's $25, but not only does that include live access to the class on the day of class, it also gets you a permanent digital download of the class that you get to keep, that we will email to you after the class is over. That way you'll always have that content that you paid for. So there you go. Look, you don't want to join the whole thing, then don't. Just sign up for the class and it's great. So there you have it. And once again, really want to thank our friends at Anagram for sponsoring the class. Thank you so very much. And thank you to Anagram for their continued support of the Floativerse. Thank you. Sandy Presley, one of our fabulous Float staff people. In fact, Sandy is in charge of our merch store this year. She's in charge of the Orange store, speaking of which, at the convention. We have an Orange store online. We also have an Orange store at the convention. And Sandy is proudly running that division. So thank you, Sandy. Lisa McIntyre, excited for the Halloween theme. I'm always excited for Halloween. Always excited. Here in the Pacific Northwest, Halloween is a ridiculously busy holiday because it's 6:37. Because while not every culture celebrates Christmas, just about every culture has some form of Halloween. And so a lot of these tech companies go full blown Halloween because for them, it's like their Christmas. So there you go, to a degree. So there is that. And for those of you wondering, I'm proud to say that the latest edition of our Aloft streaming classes, Getting Returns on Your Reels from Jesse Marclaro, has been finalized, has been edited down, and has been sent to the web guys to upload to the site. So if you missed Jesse's class on her tips and tricks on how to get actual good content and get it returned and actually see clients coming out of it, that video should be uploaded to the system any day now. So you can log into your Aloft account and watch this class over and over and over again because, folks, guess what? Once again, it's free with your membership to Aloft. So thank you very much once again to Jesse for a fabulous class. And we're looking forward to being able to watch that video on replay very, very soon. Okay, now it's time for what we like to refer to as our street level Floativerse content. So let's get to that. First of all, the Step Chat survey has become really, really popular lately. It seems like people really seem to enjoy it. For those of you that are familiar, in the Float Facebook group now, every Sunday morning, we drop a survey question and then we go over the results of it during the live show. And tonight's episode or today's question was a little bit different. Today's question was about your focus at the convention. So when you go to a convention, not necessarily Float, but if you say you go to a convention or a conference or whatever, and you have multiple classes going on at the same time, and you have to pick which one you want to go to. The question was basically, how do you prioritize those classes? Is it based upon the content of the class? Is it the teacher? Is it whoever's sponsoring it? Is it the time of day of the class, or is it something else? And I wasn't super surprised by the results, but a little. So at the time that I screenshot, there's about 30 of you took the time to respond. 68%, and keep in mind too, this is one of the surveys that we did allow multiple answers. You could pick more than one, okay? Because I wasn't about to hear people yell and scream at me that it's not really any one thing. But clearly, the number one reason why people is the subject of the class is important to you, which is good. I would think that would be important. Number two was the instructor, which I found interesting. I will admit that there were some results of this that I was kind of surprised at based upon comments that I've heard at past conventions. For example, well, first of all, let me address some of the comments. A couple of you in the comments put, you marked have a different reason, and you said, well, this class has good ROI. But ROI to me, the way I interpret that is that's the subject of the class. Like you look at a class and go, oh, I think that class will give me good ROI. Well, then the subject of the class is what you assume is going to be the ROI, right? So to me, that's That's kind of the same thing. Um, if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. I'd love to know if you disagree with me on that. The other thing I'm surprised at, I'm very surprised that the instructor one is as low as it is, because I can't tell you how many times at Float it's that never-ending cycle where we get people that say you don't have enough business classes at Float. So then we put together business classes at Float. And then what happens? Nobody takes them. And then you confront the same people that complained to you about the fact that they wanted business classes and they weren't in there. And the thing they say is, well, I know I really wanted to take it, but oh my God, but blah, blah, blah was teaching at the same time. And I just love her and I couldn't miss her class. Well, then at that point, the subject wasn't important to you. At that point, the teacher was clearly more important to you. I was also kind of surprised that the notes one was so low, because I've specifically had people at Float that tell me that one of the things they love about getting the Float notebook is that they go up to their room and they go through it and they look at the classes they wanted to take. And then they decide, oh God, I don't want that class. Oh God, that's what the class is. Oh, I don't want that. And then they'll make adjustments or whatever. Now, mind you, this is back when we had tickets. So since we're not doing the tickets this year, it could be very interesting. But so yeah, based on my behind the scenes feedback, I'm kind of surprised the numbers are where they are. Now, again, this is only as good as the people that took the time to respond. So, and by the way, I do want to thank those of you that took the time to respond. Thank you very much. Stacy Chase, good to see you, Stacy, one of our masterclass instructors coming to Float. I hope they take business classes this year. I mean, because why not end with action? Yep, there you go. Yeah, it's one of the things that I will say that we are looking to do for the 28 convention. It's too late now, obviously. But in addition to the foundation track next time around, we are specifically going to have, we are looking at the possibility of creating an exclusive twister track, and we are looking at a business track. So in other words, we would have like one class every session that would be dedicated to nothing but non-round content. And then we would have one class every session that's nothing but business. Again, whether or not that's going to be a thing is hard to determine. And we've actually talked about the possibility of selling these as different price tracks. Like with the foundation pricing is different than the academic access, because you get a lot more access with the academic pass, right? So the idea would be is that if you wanted to take just the business class track, it would be a cheaper price than if you wanted to take everything. Whereas the twister class track would be the same thing. It'd be a different price, but you'd also be limited to only taking the twister track. You wouldn't be allowed to take the other classes. If you wanted to take the other classes, then you would have to pay for the academic pass. So just things we're looking at, things we're talking about. Again, we try to make Float as affordable as possible. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. Stacy, Roseanne, great ideas. Great. Thank you. Dina, you can know every design ever, but if you don't know how to sell it or make money, what's the point? I could not agree more. And that is one of the reasons why Fulcrum will continue to remain as business centric as it is. I do like the decor day option. I like that because people want to be able to play with balloons for a day. But at the end of the day, the focus really is about business. And I think a lot of people really enjoy that. So I'm looking for, and like I said, we know that Float can't be everything to everyone, but Lord knows we're trying. So we'll talk about the affordability at the end of the video when we get to that. So there's that. But again, I do want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for taking the time to fill out the survey. So thank you. I do want to remind everybody once again that Float is available. We have a YouTube channel at Float Convention. Try that again. We are located at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. I will admit I've been dragging my feet quite a bit. I talked about getting the Working Wonders episodes and the La Familia Float episodes uploaded. I just haven't done it yet. So yes, I suck. I am going to try to get that done this week because this week is a little bit lighter. Um, it's not super light, especially when you look at all the stuff I got to do to get ready for Thursday and Friday. But I do really want to get those uploaded because I just think I feel it's content that needs to be shared. So there's that. So we do ask that if you're active on YouTube, which I am becoming more and more active every day. I actually upgraded my membership and now I'm paid. I got so sick of commercials every 2 minutes. It just drove me nuts. Um, some of the videos that I was watching was literally like every 2 minutes there was commercial breaks, like in the middle of that kind of thing. And it's so much. I love it so much better now that there's no commercials in there. Um, but yeah, if you are a subscriber or a frequent user of YouTube, we do ask that you take a moment to subscribe to the Float channel. Like our videos, share our videos with other people that might want to see the content. This really does help engagement. Um, and at the end of the day, we can't do this community without you. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it and appreciate you. And just as a reminder, obviously, we're doing the live episode tonight. The full episode, the full recording of this show will be available on the YouTube channel tomorrow on Monday, and the abbreviated summary version will be uploaded on Tuesday. For those of you that are unfamiliar, we now offer a diet step chat version available on Tuesday. Basically, I go through and kind of just turn it into a bullet point conversation. The videos will range anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 max, as opposed to an hour to 90 minutes. So there you go. So we're looking forward to having that ready for you later this week. Do want to remind everybody that if you are looking for a roommate for the convention, please take a moment to visit the Float Facebook group. We do have a link with this graphic right in the top of it's pinned to the top. There are conversations there, people looking to share rooms and expenses at the convention. So if you are looking for that, please be sure to join the Float group if you haven't already done so, and leave a comment in the group. If you are registered for the convention, I do want to remind you that you are eligible once again to be a member of the Float Forum. The Float Forum is a special exclusive Facebook group dedicated to just people that are coming as academic attendees at the convention. No sponsors, no vendors are allowed. This is a private space just for working balloon professionals. We have different themes all the time. We have Monetary Monday, Talking Points Tuesday, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Wednesday, where everybody laments about the crap going wrong, Thumb Drive Thursday, and Fabulous Friday. And we welcome you to be a part of that. If you're registered for the convention, you're in. You just have to request to join. If you look for the links in the Float emails that were sent out, and we'd love to have you join us there. So there you go. Right now, there's only about 200 people in the group. There's far more than 200 people coming, but there's only 200 people in the group. The great part about it, too, is the people that are in the group know what the hell they're talking about. You could go to another Facebook group and ask a question and get 100 answers, and 2 of them are probably right. The great thing about this group is you'll go out there and ask a question. You may only get 1 or 2 answers, but these are from people that actually know what the hell they're talking about. They don't waste your time if they don't know. There's nothing more than I hate that when you go into a group like that and you say something like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And then someone says, well, it never happened to me, but if I do it, I'd shove that up their butt or whatever it is. And you're like, I didn't ask you for this. You've been in business for 6 months. It's never happened to you. Why are you jumping into this conversation if you have no clue what you're talking about? You don't have that problem in the forum. So there you go. Hope you'll join us there. And if you want to drop some weight before the convention, our good friend Lisa McIntyre is conducting a group called Fit for Float. It is a Facebook group. She hosts weigh-in Wednesdays where she encourages everybody to kind of get together and talk about their weight travels. And I've been really crappy about it lately because I kind of gave up on it, and not the group, but I gave up on I was doing really good and then I fell off the wagon, so to speak, and I got to get back on it. So I am recommitting here and now to be more active in the group and to talk about my personal journey. I want to be below 200 pounds before the convention. I was at 201 back in June, and then I blew it. So we'll get back to that again and get that squared away. So thank you very much, Lisa, for doing that. And again, just one final reminder to everybody. I do want to remind you all that this coming Thursday, we have a special episode of Step Chat. We will be introducing you to all the bonus class instructors, and we will be going over the flotation passes because those bad boys go on sale Friday or morning, September 12th. And with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me for the slideshow portion of Step Chat. So there's that. So there. If you have questions for me, please throw them in the chat now here on Facebook. Throw them in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to respond to them for you. While I wait for that, I do want to share a bit of a conversation. So what time is it on Thursday? The Step Chat episode, the Step Chat on Thursday is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Same time as the normal show, keeping it consistent. So 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, because I believe you're in New York or New Jersey. Is that right, Roseanne? I was having a conversation the other day with somebody who was quite frustrated with me. And they were angry about the cost of float. And basically, they thought that it was unfair of us to charge $700 just to go to a balloon convention. Because I don't understand, because it's not just the convention, it's the airfare and the hotel and like, I don't understand that. Like, I'm the producer of this thing and I don't get it. Nothing would make me happier than to be able to say to people, it's $100 to go to float. Nothing would make me happier than that. But it's not realistic. Let's not even talk about how, as a business owner, there are times when you have to make decisions about investing in your business, right? Because we all know that everybody, you invest in things. You buy branded shirts to promote your business. You buy a vehicle that allows you the ability to do more deliveries at a time. Or you buy better equipment that allows you to do more professional work more quickly. You hire people. You make an investment in other people, and I'm gonna have other people help me with my work. Google ads, sponsored ads, billboards, whatever it is. You decide all along the way, you make a decision to invest in yourself. So we're not even going to discuss the fact that float is an incredible investment in yourself. What I would like to share is that I was recalling, because what I tried to do is put myself in that person's shoes. They're fairly new, and they're like $700 is a lot of money. And I thought back to myself when I was fairly new, and I went to my first convention in 1996. I went to my very first balloon convention, which was the International Balloon Arts Convention, affectionately known as IBAC. IBAC was sponsored it was sponsored exclusively by Qualitex. And it was the biggest event of its time. And to this day, still the biggest exclusive balloon convention that's ever been held. In 1997, I paid $800 to attend IBAC. $800. Had this person registered for float in May, they would have paid $600 to attend float. The biggest price anybody will have to pay to attend float, and that's if you wait to the last second is $900. So between 1997 and 2026, you're talking about a price difference of $100. Just for the sake of reference, based upon inflation and everything else, if you look at 1997, $800 in 1997 would be equal to roughly $1,400, $1,500 today in today's economy. And I'm telling you right now, you're getting more at Float than you got at the World Balloon Convention. Or I mean the IBAC, excuse me, IBAC. You're getting more than you got at IBAC. More classes, more teachers, more options, more everything. Maybe you might have gotten one more meal at IBAC than you get at Float. That's it. So I truly believe, and as many of you know, we the idea behind Float is not to get rich. Because if it was, we'd be charging a hell of a lot more for this event. But the bottom line is what we're trying to do is keep the price as low as we possibly can to get as many people as possible to go because we see the cycle. The more people that attend, the more sponsors want to get behind it. The more people that want to attend, the more vendors want to get behind it. The more vendors that are involved, the more sponsors that are involved, the more people want to attend. And it just feeds itself over and over again. So I get it. $700 might be a lot for you. I'm not ignorant to that. And again, remember, I don't know your living situation. For all I know, that the $700, that's all extra money for you. Yeah, that could be just how you're making ends meet at home. I don't know. But what I know is that I truly believe that Float at $700 is a stupid screaming deal. And I think you're silly not to take it. Roseanne, these are the same people complaining because they're charging $10 a foot for organics. That could be. That could be. I still don't, for the life of me, I can't even comprehend that. I can't. But there are. Yep. So there you go. Thank you for listening to my diatribe there. It's fine. I don't see any new questions coming in the chat, so we might just cut this off right about 7:00 tonight. We haven't even got, technically, with the restart, we haven't even gone a full hour. But I knew that was going to be the case because we have a big show on Thursday. We are going to be, like I said, we are going to introduce you to all the bonus class instructors thus far. And I say thus far because I have a feeling there may be more added as we go along. I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to be at least so. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll share with you Thursday. I don't want to say anything and then be wrong. We're going to introduce you all the bonus class instructors. We're going to talk about the bonus classes that are being offered. Very excited about all that. And again, we're going to break down the flotation pass and what's included, and yes, the price. So, it's exciting stuff. I'm really excited about this. And for those of you that are wondering, from this point forward, because if you'll recall, when we've talked, and this I don't mind sharing, we've talked about the flotation pass. We talked about we're not sure how it's going to work yet because we're trying. It's about there's headshots included, and we're trying to get it sponsored and blah 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 blah. At this point in the game, we are working under the presumption that is not going to happen. So at this point in the game, we are moving forward with the notion that those headshots are not going to get sponsored, and that's just how we're going to move it from here on out. Sandy Presley, my first and most others following were $800 with the exception of float, and none of offer what float does. Yeah, because Sandy and I actually met at one of the IBACs. True story. I was competing, and Sandy and Bonnie, her friend Bonnie Fisher, who was also on the float staff, um, were kind enough to volunteer to help me with the build. And God love them, if memory serves correctly, like we literally just met each other, and they stayed working with me for 20 something straight hours. The sculpture competition, the large sculpture competition at IBAC, was 27 hours long straight. You didn't stop. It wasn't like at Float. Originally at Float, the sculpture competition was over the course of 2 days. And it would be like 12 hours on one day and then 10 hours the next day. We would force you to stop and then come back in the morning. Mostly because none of us wanted to stay up all night with you. Just all there's to it. But now it's just one day because people complained that they didn't want to do that. Then on top of that too, we expanded the competition series from 3 competitions to 5. And when we did that, we knew we had to shorten that up too. So there was that. But yeah, I met Sandy and Bonnie at IBAC, and there it goes. And Dory, yes, Dory and I met too. In fact, I remember the day I met Dory Sapol, we sat in the bar at the hotel in Chicago, in Rosemont. You and I sat there for an hour talking, just chatting and stuff. And that was great. It was great. It was a wonderful night. Loved it. So yes. And you're right, Dory, the OGs, we all met at IBAC, didn't we? It was great. And one day, I can't wait for the day when I start hearing people talk about how they met their best friends at Float. You know what I mean? That's there we go. So good stuff. Good stuff. There you go. Just and at the same time, so many people that just came and went. You know, I mean, this industry is high turnover, though. I mean, it really does. But it's just so funny. In fact, I'll confess a secret. Not really a secret, but it's a thing. The Rubber Bubble podcast, right? Actually got that from my very first IBAC. I was in class at one of my very first classes, and there was a girl there in my class from Hawaii, and the name of her company was Rubber Bubbles. And I thought that was the funniest thing, because you know me, I love alliteration, I love rhythm and poetry and that kind of thing. And I just said, "Oh my god, I love the business. I love that business name." She goes, "Oh, thanks. Yeah, we do too. We're so proud." Blah, blah, blah. Gone. I think I never saw her again. Never heard of her since. Googled the company. Company's been long gone. So I didn't feel bad about borrowing the Rubber Bubble podcast at that point. So yeah, but yeah, so it. But I've met so many people and so many opportunities and so many. It's just so fun. Patty Sorrell. Patty Sorrell, who used to run Twist and Shout, who's on our staff now with Float. Patty Sorrell and her husband, Royal, God rest his soul, were 2 of my first teachers ever at a convention. And they've become some of my Patty's one of my dearest friends. So, yeah. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for being here tonight. We're at the 1 hour mark. I appreciate it. And we will see you on Thursday. Do not. Sherry Hatcher, speaking about the Rubber Bubble podcast. Yes, it was my intention today to get a recording done. I didn't get a chance to. I'm going to get it done before next weekend because my parents are actually coming to visit on September 17th, and they're going to be here through the 25th, which means there won't be no time to get it done after they get here. So I'm going to get an episode cranked out before, hopefully by next Step Chat, not this coming Thursday, but by next Sunday Step Chat. So there we go. Because yes, we are still planning on having an episode of Step Chat next Sunday also. So this episode on Thursday is an extra episode. We are planning on still doing the Sunday night episode as well. So there's that. There we go. Yeah. So there we go. Guys, thank you all very much once again for joining me here on in the Floativerse at the Floatress of Solitude. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Again, none of this could be possible without you. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to enjoy this. Oh my God, Robin Veach. Robin Veach is on the call. God love you, Robin. How the hell are you? I have missed you. I have missed you. Robin, for those of you that don't know, Robin Veach, and I'm going to say this without any disrespect to anybody else, Robin Veach should have been Designer of the Year. There are two people in the Floativerse who should have been Designer of the Year. Now, again, allow me to make this clear. It's not because of it's not should have been Designer of the Year, and I'm not taking away from somebody else. That's not what I'm saying. So let me be clear on that. But there were two individuals that competed at Float. And to be Designer of the Year, you have to compete in at least 3 of the 5 competitions. And 2 individuals dominated 2 competitions. And I mean dominated, like beat the pants off everybody. But then they didn't enter a 3rd. God love you, Robin. Robin Veach just ran away with entrance. That was the year of photo op too, if I'm not mistaken. Ran away with the photo op competition. That was a short-lived one that we only did like one time, I think. So she ran away with 2 competitions, and then she was in the centerpiece competition and didn't like her entry and got so frustrated she pulled out. And I said, Robin, just turn it in. Just turn it in. I couldn't tell her why. All I could say is, as the director, I'm not allowed to say that stuff. I'm just like, just turn it in. Just turn it in. Just turn it in. And she didn't turn it in. Had she turned it in, she had enough points with the other 2 competitions that she would have won Designer of the Year. All she had to do was turn it in. And Robin should have been. Should have been. The other individual, for those of you wondering, by the way, is Ann McGovern. Ann McGovern did a similar thing. Ann McGovern entered entrance and centerpiece, I believe, but didn't enter anything else. And literally ran away with both competitions. So I said, if you had run, if you had entered. So and for those of you, if you're wondering, by the way, the trajectory of her life would have been different. I do want to note there is an episode coming up in October about the competitions. We're going to do a separate one again. We're not going to do a live. We're not, in the past, I've done a lot of these combined episodes like Step Chat and the episode together. We'll probably make that one a separate one too, for those that are interested in competing. So that way it's not blocked in together. So there's that. But there we go. And okay, and Robin, to be fair, Robin has raised an excellent point. I'm gonna leave it in the chat. That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. That is excellent. There you go. So there we are. Well, guys, thank you all very much for joining me once again. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday night for our special episode. You guys take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.